My name is Perry Whaley. I'm the CEO of an organization called Vitiligo Manufacturing, located in Stonecrest, Georgia. We've been in existence for about 7 years, and we've done a lot of different things and events in the community here in Atlanta. Today is very special. 2020 Vitiligo Summit was brought together by a group of men called the Vitiligo Brotherhood Alliance. We went to Raleigh, North Carolina to meet with Terrell Midget, and we had great conversation, great fun. We said, well, hey, let's do something with this. And from that point on, we conversated, we communicated, and we all found that we had gifts that we could bring to the table to make life easy for other people who had vitiligo and people who didn't have vitiligo and the family members. And so we thought that this March 2022, that we would come together to bring a community of people together to embrace love, peace, and like they say on Soul Train Soul. And all I can say is that the summit has been everything that we thought it was. We started out at the Hawks game, meet and greet. We had an opportunity to meet Dominic Wilkins. He took some pictures with us. We also had an opportunity to socialize with other communities at the game, other nationalities. So it helped us to get prepared for today, which has been a phenomenal day. And all I can say is this: I hope that we can continue on our journey. I hope that we will always entertain the fact that we need to change other people's lives and not think about ourselves at all times. And so something I want you to take away with this: how much do you really love yourself? And if this was you, what would you do? And like my favorite saying is, opportunity and energy breed success. Ask yourself, how much success do you have in your life? And thank you for listening.
I think more so the acceptance was when I did depigment, and then I did go on social media and I actively sought out other vitiligo, people with vitiligo, other vitiligo communities, vitiligo groups on Facebook and Instagram. When I actively sought them out and, added myself and start talking to those people, that helped with my self-esteem and my acceptance of who I am, and, that I'm now, part of this community of people that have vitiligo. That really did help me, even though these are people I haven't met, but to see that they've gone through the same journey or still going through it, or they've accepted themselves and they're more confident in who they are, that helped me as well.
I was 24 years old when I acquired vitiligo, and I was under some unusual conditions. I was incarcerated for 10 years, and that's when the vitiligo started to surface. Now, do I know what truly caused it? They say stress. They say autoimmune. I don't really know, but that's where it occurred. And from 24 to 56 is what it looks like now. So what you see me talking to you in the camera is what vitiligo has become in my life.
So the first time I realized I had vitiligo was when I was 23, and a spot had come up on my hand. It was like a little dot. My brother had took a picture of me, and at first he thought it was like a glare in the photo. But I was like, no, it's just a little, dot that came up on my skin. I don't know where or what happened and how it occurred, but and then I did start going to dermatologists once it started forming a little more, like it started spreading all over my hands, both hands, and then like a little bit on my lips here and on my feet. And so I started going to dermatologists trying to see, could I get some type of cream or something? Like, what could I do to reverse this? I don't want this vitiligo. I don't want it. And, they were telling me that they could, prescribe me some steroid creams. I got to rub it on my hands every day. And it was just becoming a bit much. And the cream would itch. And I didn't see anything repigment. And it just continued to spread even more so. And then within about maybe 3-4 years, it progressed to the point where it was, fully over my entire body. My face was the last part of my body to, just completely become what is called universal vitiligo, where I have it. My entire body has depigmented.
I was diagnosed with vitiligo when I was 35 years old, and as I said before, I had already assimilated into the man that I wanted to be, and then here comes vitiligo around my eyes and mouth. I didn't know what it was. I go to the dermatologist, and they explain to me that you have vitiligo. The good news is it's not terminal. It's not going to shorten your life. But the bad news is there's a possibility that it will spread to small places or maybe even your entire body, completely changing the way you look. So my life immediately took a new direction, and that's what's brought me here today.
I first developed my vitiligo in about, I say 1996, it could be 97, it's been a while. And it started on my hand, and just as a small spot, and then later it started to progress.
When I first realized I had vitiligo, I was preparing or getting ready for work one morning, rushing, trying to get out of there to beat the Atlanta traffic. So I was rushing, putting on makeup, and then I just saw this small white spot on my forehead, right at my hairline. And so I just initially just brushed it off, thinking that it may have just been a little spot that I had on my forehead, maybe makeup. And then I brushed it again, thinking, did I burn myself? And but after that second brush, I knew right away what it was. My grandmother had vitiligo, but she was the only person in my immediate family who had vitiligo. So for me, immediately I knew. And it did scare me initially. My change happened slowly. Again, my vitiligo started in 2014. So for me, that was almost 10 years ago for me. Not quite 10 years, but it was in 2014, so I'm coming up on 10 years with vitiligo. But for me, my vitiligo went really, really slowly. That small spot I started out with turned into a second spot on the back of my hairline. And it took about, I'll say about 5 years before it really started to spread. In 2019 is when I truly noticed that my vitiligo was starting to spread, and it was really nothing I could do about it. And that was when I finally made the decision to go see a dermatologist about it. And that was the first year I decided to take some medication for my vitiligo.
I first discovered that I had vitiligo when I was about 5 years old, probably in like kindergarten. When I first discovered the first spot, it was on my pinky, my right pinky knuckle. Vitiligo, you're beautiful, so lovely.
My name is Mark Braxton. I will be your MC for today. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, and yes, as you can see, I also have vitiligo. So once again, welcome to the first annual, and I'm going to call it here today. It is the first annual Vitiligo Summit, sponsored by the Vitiligo Brotherhood Alliance. I know you will have a wonderful time learning from one another, fellowshipping today, celebrating and supporting one another as we continue our vitiligo journeys. We'd like to let you say a few words to the audience.
Good morning. Come on, good morning. Hallelujah. Somebody shout hallelujah. Now come on, say good morning, God. Good morning, Jesus. Good morning, Holy Spirit. Amen. Y'all can sit down for me. I may be a little long. I may get But it's a blessing to be here, a blessing to be here. Just want to come and give greetings, today. I'm so proud of Perry, who's a member of our church, faithful, pulling this together and asking me last year, Pastor, we'd love for our church to be the host church. So we welcome all of you. We welcome all of you. Thank God for these brothers, this board.
That's the problem with a lot of our young kids. They believe everything somebody else writes about them that don't know. And if it's good stuff, they think they're hot stuff, and if it's bad stuff, they go hide in the closet. And I had my days when I hid in the closet, when I wore gloves and hats, and kept my hands in my pocket when I was 12 years old and it was 90 degrees outside, because I was embarrassed of who I was. But I'm not anymore. God has given me that strength, and I want to thank you.
Well, in that process, I would wear makeup. I would, make sure that no one saw my face patchy or, my hands. I would even wear long sleeve, short sleeve. I would wear no shorts. I would always have pants on. I was always very insecure about it for a while, and actually. When my face and my skin did become patchy, I actually removed myself off of all social media because I just wasn't happy with, how I looked, honestly. And I wasn't part of any type of communities or knew a lot of people that had vitiligo where I could go and talk to them and express how I'm feeling and, share stories. It was just literally me. Just me and my family trying to understand what's going on with me as well. I would make dermatologist appointments and go and try to, see if there was something they could do, maybe get light therapy. I know they talked about UV light therapy to try to repigment. And it just seemed like nothing worked for me. So, at one point I just had to, decide to just accept myself, and accept the change in my skin. But for the longest, I was covering up my skin with makeup. I would go and buy a Dermablend, that expensive makeup, and wear it, and have to keep replacing the bottle, every couple of months because I used it every day, even for my hands. I would put it on my hands as well. Even if I wore sandals, I would put the Dermablend on my toes and stuff to try to cover up the, the uneven skin tone or the patchiness in my skin tone. But, once it started to really depigment and I kind of was evening out with my skin tone and it was just all white, I kind of started to, be a little more self-confident, I guess, because I just didn't like the patchiness of it. I know a lot of people, when I talk to them that have vitiligo, a lot of them, say the patchy phase is the worst phase. It just the unevenness of it. But I always tell people how I felt is similar to like a teenager who's getting acne all over their face. They don't like it. They want to do something about it. They want to use face creams and face washes to get rid of it. You wake up and you have a big bump and you want to get rid of that bump. That's how insecure I felt when I had vitiligo on my skin.
About a year and a half into my vitiligo journey, I was looking on social media for people like myself because I was looking for hope. I was looking for light. I knew that there was light at the end of the tunnel, but I just couldn't see it. It was all dark. It was, I wasn't married at the time, so the whole experience of, am I gonna die alone? Am I gonna find a partner? That pressure was just compounding on itself. So I was on social media looking for other people like me, and I ran across a man called Perry Whaley. And within 2 minutes of talking to Perry online, he tells me to call him. He calls me on the phone, we have a conversation, and instantly, in a matter of 10 minutes of talking to Perry Whaley, energy and hope and light just fell on me. So Perry has been an instrumental part of my journey because he gave me that spark that I needed to get up and start living and stop hiding.
It took me quite some time. I go back to 2019. So think about 1996 to 2019, I struggled with my vitiligo. Meaning it affected, everything from work to social circles to relationships. In 2019, there were several things that happened. There are different comments made to me by kids in the camp. One little girl kept calling me a butterfly. And I didn't get it at first. She just kept saying, "You look like a butterfly." And I'm like, "Why am I a butterfly?" But one day I started thinking, I said, a butterfly is a caterpillar that knows that no matter how much people look at it and say it's ugly, the beauty is not about the outside, it's what's in the inside. And it really made me start looking at myself differently. Then I was in a relationship that abruptly ended. I was told I was insecure, had low self-esteem, and what it did, it gave me the drive to say, you know what, there are things I have to do to change myself. Because if I'm not loving myself, no one else can love me. So I had to love me first and be that love story. And then from there, people see my confidence and that I can evolve and change.
So for me, when I initially got vitiligo in 2014, I was, I think, in denial. I kept thinking maybe it would go away. But finally, I had family members who encouraged me, go to the doctor, maybe they can give you something to slow it down. There are a whole lot more advancements than what they had when my grandmother had it. So I was encouraged to go to the doctor. Went to the doctor 4 years later, and I knew it was vitiligo, but she confirmed for me that it was vitiligo. She gave me some options, gave me some medications I could take. I actually started taking medication for the first time, and but I stopped taking the medication simply because when I went in about 6 months later, she told me at that time that we were going to wait 3 months because she said at that time that it could affect my kidneys. And I've never been one to take medication, but that really made me say, that's okay. I'm just going to live with it. I'm going to accept it. And that was when I made the decision to no longer take internal medications, but I continued with the creams for about another year, and now I no longer take medication at all.
You know everything. God created everything. He made Michael Jackson, okay? Now you look at Michael Jackson, one of the biggest entertainers of all time. Maybe arguably the biggest. World renowned, you know what I'm saying? World renowned, but from birth, it was noted that from birth, Michael Jackson didn't know it. Michael Jackson had vitiligo. You see what I'm saying? See, God already had a plan for vitiligo to be on a world scale, on a major scale. See what I'm saying? God already had that plan before Michael Jackson knew his parents, Joe Jackson, whatever came in being. He already made Michael Jackson vitiligo. Michael Jackson knew there was going to be 1% of the world population that would come along. I'm not saying Michael Jackson, God knew. And there'll be 1% of the world population that would come along and have vitiligo. And there'll be people that would need something to, latch on to for confidence, whatever the case may be. And you have Michael Jackson here. He's one of the world's biggest, most infamous. He had vitiligo. That's documented, that's proven. But at the same time, I want to make another point in that. Michael Jackson did not understand the assignment. You see what I'm saying? Michael Jackson did not embrace his vitiligo. Had he embraced his vitiligo, maybe we wouldn't have to, still walk around with the question marks about what it is we have or whatever.
And learn to sell the things that you can't change. I'll stand for the lose, yeah, I know that pain. But you can't change the physical, go any pain. Everything gon' change. And once you love yourself, no more sad days.
Have that own self-love. So again, from the center, having that self-love, make notes of things that you're proud of. So again, going back to that scripture, write the vision and make it plain. So sometimes if you put things in front of you, just seeing them, it makes it a tangible thing and something that you can work towards.
But he's still loving it.
You gonna get somebody to take a picture of him?
They like ice coffee.
Yeah. Being married to someone who has vitiligo has been actually rewarding. I always share the story of when Perry and I met. I heard him before I saw his face. But when I met him, it all made sense to me. But I remember when I first heard him and then I turned around and finally saw his face, I remember thinking, good for him, because he showed so much confidence and he has so much energy, as most of us know. And I think just putting those two together, it just made me fall more and more in love with him. But for him, what I see in him is this person who just like exudes, it just pours out confidence. But he's also like one of the biggest motivators. I've never met anybody like him. I promise you I haven't. And I feel blessed. I feel grateful. And thank you for that. But honestly, just meeting other people who have vitiligo who are friends with Perry, they all share the same sentiments. And they all talk about how he has been such a blessing in their lives. And when I think about your question, being married to someone who has vitiligo, I think it's just, it's a unique gem. It's a unique blessing because I've learned so much from him in just being who he is and how he blesses other people by encouraging them to use their courage that most of them probably didn't realize they had. And he's just, you know, I'm just so blessed. I couldn't have asked for a better mate.
I do consider myself a leader within the vitiligo community. I'm one of the leaders for the North Carolina Vitiligo Support Community.
I wrote a book called Embracing Your Higher Self. I felt like there were other things that I wanted to do, but I felt like this was something that was more meaningful and more needed. I'm not necessarily doing this book for me. I'm doing this for who I was 7 years ago, and for that person who is walking through that door that I walked through 7 years ago, who is lost and maybe going down that dark rabbit hole of depression. You are not your skin. It's hard to come to that understanding on that side of things, but on this side of things, when you have a different perspective, you can tell someone, hey, you are something more than what you look like. You are more than what the mistakes you made. You are more than what your parents or your teachers or your preachers, whoever have imparted on you. You are more than that, and it's up to you to figure out who that is and what that is. And once you embrace that higher thing that you are capable of, your possibilities are limitless. And you won't care about what people think because you will know who you are, and everything else will just come.
Now I am a fully functioning entrepreneur. I'm the CEO of a record label, One House Entertainment. I have multiple artists, and also I'm full-time rapper / entrepreneur.
I wanted to go back and talk a little bit about the name and the name of my group, So Rare They Stare. How the name was originated. The name So Rare because less than 2% of the world's population has vitiligo. And they stare because a lot of people just don't know what it is, or we're so unique. That's how I like to look at it. But the mission for the group is to educate and to encourage. Educating those who don't have vitiligo as well as those of us who do, to know what vitiligo is.
I'm gonna let Coach sing, You gotta sing or dance. Which one y'all want? You gotta sing or dance. Young fellow, pray. Unity.
Y'all stretch your hands and pray, please. God, we thank you so much for this young brother, this young man. And we surround him with love. We surround him with power. We surround him with positive energy. We surround him with unity. Oh God, we pray that you would bless him and keep him. Oh God, that you would comfort and keep him. He didn't understand a lot that's happening now in his life. God, we pray that you would help him to see. Thanks for his call, thanks for his commitment. Thank you for these brothers, God, right now, God. We join together in power and strength to encourage him and to encourage each other, even for our community out here, God. Hallelujah. That we are somebody. We are love. I love this king. Hallelujah. Thank you for that, God. We've been blessed today. And now you bless and keep. I pray anointing on this man, God. Your power on this man. love you. We thank you for what you're doing and how you're moving. Thank you for the education of the world. I've been blessed today. Heard what I've said. Love you now. Did not offer praises to God, praises to the pastor of this church and the church family, and the members of this church who got a pandemic raise and haven't increased their tithes. There y'all, I'm just joking. Wow, I got jokes now. But this ain't no joke, man. Hey, y'all mean to tell me nobody in here talked to these folks and said, can we do this on Zoom because of the gas prices? I just came all the way from Cobb County, man. And I paid more for gas than I did for my child's college tuition. Wow, where were we? Oh, man. I'm just trying to grasp why I'm here and listening to the young lady who was just here, the vitiligo, that caught my spirit because no matter what happens to us in this life, we all have to keep going, don't we? We all have to keep going. And it's a horrible job, but I shouldn't say horrible job because it pays the bills, allows me to pay for gas. But in some of the crazy things I see in my walk, on my journey, it's we have a lot of problems, but we got to keep going. And in my time, long time on this earth, I've seen some stuff in the job that I do, and I've come to this startling conclusion that humans are a flawed species. Aren't we? We are deeply flawed. All of us. Not them, not us, not the young, not the old, not the men, not the women. We are all deeply flawed. We can come up with some mind-blowing stuff, man. I mean, here's an example. I have nothing against dogs, but have y'all noticed how some humans care more for dogs than they do for humans? You could be on fire, and a human, all they have to do is spit to put the fire out, and some humans would say, I'm saving my spit for Fido. Saving my spit, my saliva for a dog. And as I walk my journey, I've come to realize, even more deeper than ever, that we need more love. We are craving for more love in our lives. And you know what else we need? We need tolerance. We need a lot of tolerance, y'all. We need tolerance for those who do not look like us, who do not believe like us, who do not carry themselves like us. We need tolerance for people who come in different packages, different flavors, different skin tones. We got to do better at tolerating folks who look different, and act different, and think differently.
How you doing?
I ain't even at your phone.
I'm guilty. Hold up, say.
That's all right. It doesn't matter.
So my message would be certainly go out and actively seek, others that, also have vitiligo. Meet up with them, plan things, maybe even you all could, chat back and forth in the DMs, in Instagram or even on Facebook Messenger, communicate with these people, and they will be able to share and impart on you some of their, experiences and help lift you as well. I do believe that us supporting each other helps, that person who may not, have that support system at home, they'll see that and they'll reach out, or maybe we'll see them and reach out to them, and just impart that, you're still a beautiful person inside and out. Still continue to be who you are. Honestly, you don't need the makeup. I mean, you really don't need the makeup. I've even had people, come up to me in Walmart, and a guy came up to me, oh my God, I just wanted to tell you, nothing that he was trying to hit on me, just, oh my goodness, you're so beautiful. Just random people. And it felt a little weird at first. I'm like, who are you? You don't need to say that. Trying to be all humble and don't need it. But when I went home, I was like, you know what? That really helped me. I really appreciate that person. Thank you so much for saying that to me. You know what I mean? Just reaching out to other people. Just come out of that shell. Even if it's one other person with vitiligo, reach out and they'll grab you and pull you into all the other, vitiligo communities that are out there and other people that are out there that have vitiligo. And I was just, hearing that it's 5 different types of vitiligo. There's the universal, the focal, segmental. No matter what type you have, you're still part of that vitiligo community. So just reach out and, speak to someone else who has vitiligo. It's a whole community out there waiting for you.
The main thing I would want anybody to know about themselves is that from childhood we have trauma that we don't even think about anymore. The beatings we took, the whatever happened in your family, I don't know. There is some level trace of trauma. And when something like vitiligo comes along and rips that Band-Aid that you've had on all those years, all of those insecurities come flooding back. And you realize, man, I thought I was over that thing that triggers me to be angry, triggers me to feel no self-worth, triggers me to feel like I'm not worthy. All of those things will come flooding back when people are staring at you constantly and you're looking inside for that thing, and then you realize, oh my goodness, I got this vault full of trauma that I have never addressed. So this book, this project will walk you through how I made it, going through that process of unpacking that stuff, dealing with it in a healthy way, and then coming out on the other side knowing that that doesn't define you. What defines you is who you are on the inside and what God says you are. And from that point on, you'll be able to endure anything and walk strong.
The main message I want to give people who are watching this is, no matter what you go through, what place, what area, where you are in the world, just always remember to be you. And it's always beautifulness inside of being yourself. So be you always.
Okay, so recently I had the opportunity to go to a paint party. And this was my second time going to one. And when the instructor gave us instructions, told us about the different colors on the palette, most of the ladies in the room were African American, or pretty much everyone in the room was African American. And us as African American, I call us the chocolate rainbow. We have so many different colors. Well, I actually, there was a black, a white, different colors of brown and yellow. Well, when she was telling the ladies how to mix up to get the brown, I was saying to myself, well, most of my color is not brown. And I actually got emotional when I was painting this. I actually started crying and didn't realize that I was going to get emotional. So I started out painting the legs, and I was using the lighter color just like what's up top. But I started crying because I started thinking about how my skin is, and I've got spots all over my body. And so I just started crying and didn't say anything to anyone, but the ladies that were next to me, they actually saw what I was doing. I was putting the different spots, and they thought it was cool. But again, as I mentioned earlier, how vitiligo doesn't hurt us, but it does mess with you psychologically. So even doing this portrait, it just kind of touched me. But I'm very proud of the portrait that I painted. It's a reflection of my body. My body is actually pretty much the top half of my body is this color. This portrait reflects my body. And I'm very proud of it.
Vitiligo is so beautiful, yeah. Vitiligo is so beautiful, yeah. I love y'all, man. Happy Vitiligo Sunday, 11/2/22. Thank y'all for having me. Thank you for Jerry, Mr. Green, all Vitiligo Brotherhood Alliance. Love y'all. Remember, always be beautiful. Don't worry about what the world think about you. Just love yourself.
Perry with Vitiligo Man of Action, and I got so much I want to say, but I'm gonna keep it real simple and short. First of all, I want to thank all the people who participated in putting this together, who supported it, and just believed in it. You know, my guys, my brothers. I got brothers out there that I started with, they're still here. I got brothers that I'm meeting, and we're growing it, and it's just phenomenal. But first of all, I just want to thank the volunteers today who came in and did a wonderful job. It looked like every time I wanted to do something, they said sit down, but I want to thank Sharon, Delphine, Sean, and Erica, and Denise. Denise is the one who taking all the pictures, interviewing everybody, right back there, so y'all give her, and everybody else around the bar. Secondly, I want to thank Berean Christian Church for allowing us to host this event. Y'all give them a round of applause. Their staff has been phenomenal. You can reach me at perrywhaley136@gmail.com. You can also reach me on my page, Vitiligo Man of Action. You can Google Vitiligo Man of Action, or you can go to my website, vitiligomanofAction.vpweb.com.
Hello, and thank you for joining Faces of Vitiligo. I'm Denise Powell, Executive Director of the Global Independent Filmmakers Tribe, a nonprofit 501c3, also known as GIFT. GIFT exists to provide an education and voice for the underserved. We hope you enjoyed our program, and we look forward to bringing you more soon.